El Silencio is a residential complex developed during the government of President Isaías Medina Angarita, and it was the outcome of a contest for the restructuration of the space where it has been located since its construction 68 years ago. The contest was won by the architect Carlos Raúl Villanueva, who gave continuity to the project and supervised the building site throughout 3 years. The project was developed with the purpose of attending the housing needs of the lower social strata. This monumental work came earlier than 1939's Rotival Plan, where it was planned to end the Avenida Bolívar's axis. It can be stated that in 1939 the location of El Silencio was completely depressed and miserable, as a result of the massive rural-urban migration that took place in Venezuela during that time. In fact, the place was occupied by bars, brothels, and tenements. This special restructuration consisted in 6 apartment types disposed in 7 buildings, finishing off the Avenida Bolívar axis, and condition what in a near future will become the Simón Bolívar Center Towers, a project designed by the Venezuelan architect Luis Malaucena, Marcos Pérez Jiménez's favorite architect. The buildings, remodeled nowadays, present a strong influence of the colonial traditional Venezuelan architecture of the city of Coro, province of Falcón. Color. Since the beginning and until the year 2005, the building's color was white, which gave the sensation of a much more open space. The choice of white as a distinctive element was influenced by the Venezuelan colonial architecture, where this color was, if not the only one of the most popular color used in old houses' facades. Nowadays, after remodeling, buildings show a mustard color, which gives a much more close spatial feeling and can be too harsh for residential neighborhood. However, some colors remain as original, like the natural color in the stone columns and white in the building's arcades.
Light and texture. Light in this project is intrinsically associated with the rhythm given by the columns, which open up and give way to pedestrian circulation to the commercial zones located in the ground floor, creating a series of covered and weather-protected hallways thought for pedestrians and neighbors. Acoustic. Because of the location of the buildings, since the beginning it was noticeable how the space had been enclosing not only in the visual, but in the acoustics of the structures. The buildings enclose what later would be known as the O'Leary Square. The open configuration of this space allows the noise flow from one end to the other. In the middle of the square, there are 2 fountains made by the sculptor Francisco Narváez, where you can feel the space in the most pure manner, despite the fact that it's exposed to vehicular traffic, because the fountains work as noise suppressors. Nowadays, because of being framed inside the city, O'Leary Square catches a lot of noise, and it would be virtually impossible to stay in there if it weren't for the fountain. Rhythm. Rhythm on the buildings is given by a series of columns located in a gradual and symmetrical way in search for modulating the space. These columns circumscribe visually and physically the pedestrian space. The repetition of these columns causes a constant reading of the space, which favors both verticality and horizontality sensations in the building. Because of being the end of Avenida Bolívar, horizontal circulation flows easily, and the location of pedestrian spaces eases the walking from one place to another as well. However, this circulation can be a little bit diminished in the streets surrounding the heart of the complex, making hard the building square building crossing because of the high traffic. The vertical circulation occurs inside the buildings, and it's accomplished by the use of stairs only. No elevators were built because the buildings are only 5 or 6 stories tall. Scale. The scale of the complex compared with the edifications that surround it is relatively small. This is due to the time the project was designed and the fact that it was influenced by colonial architecture, which doesn't reach a monumental vertical scale in first place. However, it's rare to find in Caracas such a continuous horizontal route and uniformity of materials, textures, colors, rhythm and shapes, which allow the space to be read as a whole, getting thus a higher scale.